habeen wanaagsan waxaan ahay officer Mukhtaar waxaan u shaqeeyaa Minneapolis Police and waxaan caawin ku soo dhaweynayaa eventigan ay host gareynayaan Somali American Police Officers Association oo ka taagan tahay Soomaali marka loo fasiro isbarasho ama salaamid la soo bandhigayo organizationkan waxa uu qabanayo waxa uu yahay iyo meelaha uu soo maray iyo dadka ku jira iyo sida loo wado organizationkan waxaan isku daynaa Ingiriisi iyo Somali laakiin core value-geena waa Somali baan nahay so Somali inaan ku hadlo marka hore waa waxay diraysaa message xoog leh oo ah in anaga Soomaali u taaganahay Soomaaliga aanan ka faanaynin ama Soomaali aan nahay ma garata so Soomaali baan ku bilaabayaa laakiin obviously wadankan waa professionalism-keena waxa weeyaan inaan Ingiriis aan u bedelo si qof walba oo u fahmo ma garata so ladies and gentlemen welcome to the first ever Somali American Police Association meet and greet session I'm excited tonight to be here with you in a lovely Wednesday evening, early fall in Minnesota. Weather is really beautiful out, and it's a rainy night. I'm here to say a few words about myself. I'm Officer Mukhtar. I hold the rank of an officer for Minneapolis Police Department for the last 6 years. I've went through a lot of challenges as a police officer, Somali police officer. And one of the challenges that I went through was I did not have a mentor to guide me through the challenges of law enforcement career in Minnesota and probably the United States. I'm one of the few first police officers hired in the United States. There are pockets of officers in any other state in the United States, but in Minnesota has become the house or the home for Somali police officers. And for that reason, and the challenges that I went through, and like-minded officers who also went through the same struggles, we have started an organization called Somali American Police Officer or Police Association, either or. This organization is founded to mentor through the young police officers that are gonna come and join every other department in the United States, not only in Minnesota. We are currently and actively engaged with our community. We are striving to be better every day. We are improving as we go every day. We have a structure. We have chairman, we have vice chairman, we have treasurer, we have a media personnel who's in charge of all the media related questions or concerns. As all of you know, Somali people or as Muslim, there are challenging times in our time. We're going through a crossroads, times where identity crises are very common. Without do the further, I don't want to take time because I have a short time. I would like to introduce you to our chairman, Officer Abdul Wahab Ali. But before I do that, I'll ask you to put your hands together. If you can stand, you can stand. but do the best you can to welcome our chairman, Officer Abdul Wahab Ali.
And it is an honor for me today to welcome you to the first Somali American Police Officer Association. This is first community engagement event that we ever had. And I want to thank all of you community members that took their valuable time to come here and wanted to come and get to know us. That's very important, and I really appreciate it. If I first want to talk about a little bit about how we get established first, the Somali National Police Officer Association was established the end of 2012 with about 6 police officers from Minnesota, from 4 different law enforcement agencies in Minnesota. And today, we have about 15 members, which is like for us to grow up that fast within 2 years, it is really amazing. One thing I want to tell you is that this is a national association that members of the associations are from different agencies in the USA. I'm proud to say that all of us are not law enforcement officers, but the most valuable person we have is an Hennepin County attorney, Maya Sheikh Salah, who's sitting over there today. And she brings and contributes really from different perspectives, brings to the table a fresh, really valuable ideas for us every day. What we used to do is that when we first started, we used to meet every month, come on the table together and talk about Somali issues and talk about different ideas, what can we do? And there are 2 main purposes that is based on our mission. And the first thing is to be a resource for other law enforcement officers that are coming up and being recruited. And the mission mainly is to be a resource for the Somali American community and the various law enforcement agencies to improve the relationship between law enforcement and the Somali American communities across the nation, and to create an opportunities for positive engagement between law enforcement and communities. As I have said, the most valuable one is providing the network to each other. First, I want to take a chance to introduce the members. If you guys can stand up and come to the table so that people can just put face. I'm going to start with Vice Chair, Mr. Salah Ahmed. And Salah is a Metro police officer, Metro Department police officer. And usually, the reason that I want him to come over here is that you guys have an ambassador from that department that you can put face to it. So thanks, Mr. Vice Chair. And the second person I want to introduce is Sergeant Wahid. Sergeant Wahid Siraj. As you guys may know, Sergeant Wahid was the first sergeant of that we know from the United States that we know. So he was the first sergeant from the Somali American Police Officer Association. And the next person I want to introduce is Sergeant Muhammad Abdullahi. You guys call him Mo. And we call him the Mandela. So there's a reason. There is a reason why we call him the Mandela, because when I first decided to become a police officer, it was right after September 11. There was no other Somali police officer that I can call or talk to or ask anybody anything about the law enforcement. So when I decided to join first I applied Minneapolis 2002, and then I went to school for it at the same time. And the challenge that the most I had was that, was the unknown. Like when you don't know where you're going to, it puts more pressure on you. On top of that, being a police officer is very competitive. It's very challenging and very competitive. So as I was having a big challenge in the department, then he showed up, and he became really a mentor for me for becoming the first Somali American police officer in the city or in the nation that I know. So just you guys know, he was the first Somali police officer, and later on he became a sergeant. Now he works at the assault unit for the investigations department. So he moved on from the street. And I want to introduce you to Garat Sahal. And Garat Sahal usually, he started as a CSO with Minneapolis. And after a while, he had the opportunity to become the first Somali police officer from the city of St. Paul. I'm really proud of him. And Officer Mukhtar Abdul Qadir that introduced me, he was the third police officer from the city of Minneapolis. Now he's my partner that I share squad car with him all the time. And the next person I want to introduce is Officer Muridi Abu Bakr. Officer Muridi works at the 3rd Precinct in South Minneapolis, exactly the area that we are in today. And he is very valuable to that precinct because he's the only Somali officer that works in that precinct. And he's also really a mentor for other young guys, that want to join the police department. Thanks, Mr. Muridi. And Abdurrahman Ali, he shares the last name with me. But Ali works also in the 2nd Precinct in the northeast side of Minneapolis. Northeast side have really a lot of Somali, and a lot of Somalis live in northeast Minneapolis nowadays. So he plays very valuable role for the department, as for like him working in the areas and being a role model for the Somalis over there in that area. So he brings a lot to the table, exactly the area that he works. And the second, I'm gonna have Khatra the last. So the next person I'm gonna introduce you is the new sheriff. The sheriff doesn't have a uniform on today, so excuse him. Hassan Hussein. Hassan Hussein is the Hennepin County Sheriff, and he works at the jail. So anytime we bring somebody that's upset from with us at the jail, we just give it to him. And really, he is also very valuable to the association because the whole department that he works, he's the only one. He was the first sheriff for the Hennepin County, and he's the first one that works there right now. And he does a lot of work for the department and the community. So as you guys know, that the sheriffs, I just want to give him credit to that. When we bring to Somali female to the sheriff, sometimes we arrest them, and they used to take the headscarf from them. So nowadays they don't do that, so I want to say. Yes. And last but least, before I do that, there was, I mentioned the most, Maya Sheikh Salah. She's sitting there. She didn't want to come over here on the table, but Maya Sheikh Salah. Maya Sheikh Salah is an Hennepin County attorney and graduated from University of Baltimore. So you guys know, she is very unique to us, and we really appreciate and value a lot, having her in the association. She was one of the first people that, when we established, that played a big role for the associations. And to the last but not least, Khatra Muhammad. As you guys know, Khatra Muhammad, and she works for the St. Paul Police Department as a community liaison officer. And she's finishing up her training and stuff, and will definitely be the first Somali police officer in the nation that I know, in the United States. So Khatra brings, she brings a lot of, she motivates a lot of young Somali females just by her being seen on the uniform. And one other thing that she did was that she came with the confidence that she wanted to do this job with the hijab, with the scarf. And then that itself takes, you have to have a gut to do that. So I want to say thank you, Khatra. And there are a couple other members that really deserve to be mentioned that plays a big role for the associations. And one of them is Muhammad, who's not here. He's from Mankato, city of Mankato. And he's also the first Somali officer from the city of Mankato. As you guys know, Mankato has, good chunk of Somalis that live there. And they have really a lot of challenge over there. As far as they're new to the people, the community. I went there a couple of times, and I've seen, how the police officers and the community, the relationship, how it is. And we're really very glad to have him over there. And when we say we are association from the whole nation, and we mean that there are other officers that are from other places, like 2 officers that used to live here but become police officers in the biggest police department in the nation, New York Police Department. So their names are Saeed Hilole and Farah Abdi. They are both now actively working for the New York Police Department, and they are members of our association. Well, thank you, guys. You can take a seat. I want to share my own personal story with you about that. Really emphasize the importance of having the network and mentorship. I already mentioned that 12 years ago, when I first decided to become a police officer, there was nobody at all that that I could fall back and ask questions, and it was just really very challenging for me. And the one thing that I want to talk about is that the psychological confidence that it brings to a new recruit or someone who wants to do this job when they see someone who looks like them in a uniform. The day that I can never forget, that I will always remember, is when I saw someone that looks like me in a uniform. That's the first day I ever seen someone in uniform was when I was in college. I was a CSO, and I was in college taking class, community policing. And then the instructor invited a guest speaker that showed up, and he walked right behind me and in uniform. And I looked to my right, and I saw him. I still remember. And that was an officer called Officer Yamani Barhani that used to work for Minneapolis St. Paul Airport. Now he doesn't work it over there, but just for him to show over there, he was an Eritrean, looks like me. You know, looking at him, seeing him in uniform, it changed my complete psychological confidence. It just made me feel that I can do this job as perfectly as anybody else. That's one thing that this association will bring to the table, to show the young Somali males and females that they can do this job, not only this job, but they can do anything they want. And the resource that we have right now, one of them that we're just starting is the career resource library. Like if someone who wants to become a police officer that wants to be mentored as far as the process and the training and interviews, books they can borrow from us, a mentorship, and and sitting down with them and showing them how the process goes. That's going to be number one, the most important one that we will do on our side. If I go back, what this association can do for the community, answer that question, how can they be a resource? Our mission is to educate not only the public, but also the police departments and the police officers. We are in a unique place when I say educate the public, what I mean is that educating the public in a unique places. The opportunities we have in a safari restaurant, on the side of the street, in the mosque, in the community gatherings, any opportunity we can have. That's number one most important thing. And on the other side, for the police department, the huge one, the most important one, is that guess what? Where the conversation of education, where it starts, the locker rooms. When officers are getting ready to put in their uniform on, they use the locker room. That's where the conversation starts. That's how we are ambassadors, educating the police officers in the locker rooms, in the squad cars, on the street, in the police station, in any opportunity we can have. And we noticed already for the past 7 years, I was a police officer on the street with my other colleagues. We learned how effective that is. It is very special, private conversation that you're having with somebody. It is not like go ahead and take sensitivity class that you were forced to, that you're sitting in a room saying that, oh, this guy is teaching me about Somali culture. Can he finish? When is he gonna finish? It's different. When you are somebody, a partner in the squad car or in the locker room, that conversation means a lot. And the other thing is that the other conversation that means a lot is the engagement with a young Somali kid on the side of the street, that when he sees you in uniform and you get out of the squad car and you talk to him, because he knows that you look like his brother, his older brother. When a young kid looks like, hey, I can associate with this guy in uniform because he looks like my brother, and he stops for you and he talks to you, that's very effective also. And as you guys know, Minnesota has over 100,000 Somalis, and they're still coming. They're still coming to Minnesota. This is the place they choose to come, and the question of Somali culture and Somalis being Somali is getting more interesting to other people also because of what's happening around the world. I don't have to tell you what CNN, you can see CNN every day about what's going on about Somali name. On top of that, anyhow, in a normal average citizen, policing is very complex situation. You have to have community to the table. You have to have the police to the table. They have to engage each other, and they have to help each other. That's a courage, you know. And on the other hand, we are committed to uphold the honor and integrity of the police profession and the badge we are trusted with. And we are committed to improving the relationship between police department as an institution and the Somali American communities in the nation. So we have a website that is working right now that's effective. It is called Somali American and Police Association, but if you just go into the website, it's like www.somaliamericanpa.org. It is the website has a place where you can contact us about, you know, if you want to take advantage of the resources that, you know, we are giving to people. That's the way we can do it. So thank you very much, and thanks for, you know, coming here. I want to give the mic to Mukhtar.
Thank you, gentlemen. Waxaan hilmaamnay one officer who's currently been hired by the State Fair. Waxaa la yidhahdaa Maxamed Axmed. Wuxuu fadhiyaa xagga istaagi karta Maxamed Axmed. Mohammed Ahmed is a product of our organization as well. He's been mentored and is still getting mentored, so he can find a home that he can work for full time. But thanks for your service, Mohammed. sheekada kolaad meeliga ka socotana waxa waaye habar Soomaaliya ama gabar Soomaali habar iska dhaaday qof middle age you know, ba istaajinaysa traffic stop permit soo qaadanaysa one wrong way aadaysa wiil Soomaali istaajinay inta la dhihi eeda ka leexan jidka ka leexan warba Soomaali ba waxan war naga tag askari runan ku maleynay that's the stuff that maalmo ba aragno qosolka badan iyo gabar Soomaali oo well educated oo guri dagaal ka dhacay dhex joogta oo markuu wixii dagaalka dhaco ninka cadaanka la socota ama qof kale ajnabiga adiga ku ignore garanaysa because jaga dheer ku maleynaysa so ninka cadaanka ba cabaar la hadlaysa dambi is soo gelinaysa jeebo markii lagu dhajiyo boo hada waxa kala hadalno wow, it's too late. So, okay, our next speaker is a dynamic speaker. Is someone that we all cherish for every day for her service. We'll introduce our first, soon to be the first ever female Somali police officer in the entire world, outside Somalia, yeah? Maha anywhere else, outside Somalia. Khatra, welcome, sister.
Like he said, my name is Qadr Mohammed. I am a liaison officer for St. Paul. I've been working for them for about 6 months now. I am not a sworn officer, really. What I do is kind of like an officer's assistant position. If an officer needs help with any phone call, I'm there to assist them in any way that I can. So that's as far as my job goes, my job description goes. I joined SAPA about last winter, right before I got this position. And I didn't expect to gain as much strong relationships as I have, which is very fortunate on my part, and I am very grateful for that. I did not expect how welcoming and helpful they were in my process. They helped me from the very beginning when I was still in school, which classes I should take and which direction I needed to go in, up into how and when I should apply for the position that I am in today. They also helped me with the police training school that I'm in right now, how to apply it. If I had any annoying questions at any time of the day, they were able to answer it for me. And if they couldn't answer it, they had the right connections or the right people to take me to that could answer those questions for me. And that's one of the reasons why I'm very grateful that SAPA is here, because I have people ahead of me who've been through it all already, or at least most of it, who look like me, who have the same dakani, dinta, that we can relate to. It was very moving and very impressive for me to see that, and it's been very helpful. I've been given any kind of advice that till this day, I'm still able to get that advice from all of them. I'm a small girl, so if I go to the gym and I don't know what to do, I can call any of these guys and lady over here to help me out with tips and pointers of what I should be doing and what I shouldn't be doing. A lot of the struggle that I had to fight for the hijab was also because of the background support that I got from these men and women that are not out in the media, and they don't see their face every day, and I don't get to thank them, and they don't get the congratulations that maybe I get as well. But I do want to thank all of you very much. You've helped me throughout the entire process. And I do want to thank all of you as Somali community for coming out today just to listen to us talk and for supporting me. The department that I work for wouldn't be as half as supportive if I didn't have my people supporting me as well. So thank you for coming tonight.
Next speaker is my ex-partner who worked the same squad with me, 3rd Precinct, just recently, 3 months ago. This individual that I'm going to introduce is a very interesting character, you guys. He can get by not Somalian sometimes, and people will not ask him a lot of questions. He slips by it. So, but he speaks better Somali than me sometimes. So, without further ado, Officer Muridi, step on the stage.
Hello. I usually hate public speaking, but I guess I'm going to take this 3 minutes to do this quick. I want to thank Officer Mukhtar for being a great host. Thank you, Abadid, for letting us use the place. Beautiful place. Thanks for the beverages. Some of the things I want to talk about is before SAPA came along, I had really good mentors. One of them, Sergeant Wahid, and the other one was Sergeant Abdullahi. This job, like our chairman mentioned earlier, is very competitive, very challenging. Sometimes it just makes you want to quit, but knowing that you can get on the phone real quick and tell them, hey, I need help with this, help with that, they were always there, very beneficial. Some of the things that, SAPA, before they came along, the officers and the sergeants that were in it, they were just there, anything help from school, the stress, the mental breakdowns. I was a very skinny kid, back in the day. I gained a few pounds, but, Sergeant Wahid would take me to the gym with him, get me in better shape, physically. I just want to thank everyone that helped me down the road. And, it's crazy because when I first came down to the 3rd Precinct, South Minneapolis, this is where I work out of. Before Mukhtar came down here, I was the only Somali officer that was down here. Most of the kids would see me and they didn't know I was Somali until he came along and was sitting next to me, and we'd drive around and they were like, hey, look, Somali officer right there. And I'm like, did you guys forget about me? I was like, I was playing with you guys for like a whole year, They're like, you Somali too? I'm like, yeah. They're like, say wallahi. And once I said wallahi, they're like, oh yeah, he's Somali too. So, but we're really excited. When we first started SAPA, we didn't know if it was going to work out, but we had a lot of individuals that were very committed. Maya, thank you for everything you've done. We had weekly meetings, monthly meetings. We're all very committed. We want to not only reach, people in Minneapolis, in the state of Minnesota, Somali communities all over the nation. We have over 100,000 Somalis that live in Minnesota and in the country. And what do we have, about 15 officers, 20 officers nationwide? We got to bump those numbers up. you know, we got to bump it up really fast. So, you know, we got to bump it up really fast. And it's not a job where you can apply and get hired next week. It's long. The process is stressful. You won't know how stressful it is until you go through it, and then you get hired, and then there's some more training until you're completely done. You know, SAPA is here for those that are willing to give it their all, you know, because we're going to give it our all to be there and make sure you get through it, you know. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. Thanks to all the officers, sergeants that helped me along the way. I really appreciate it. So that's about it. Thank you.
A quick story, and marka aniga iskuulka dhiganay hadda ka hor, back in college markaan dhiganay, normal dalba aadi jiray, so I was the only Somali guy or law enforcement classes qaata. So ciyaalka hallwayga markaan isku aragno, hey, what are you learning? What are you studying? Engineer, nursing, some ambitious stuff. And I'll say, law enforcement? Okay, adigu qasla waxa la war kuwa soo boday xilay diinta ma ogola, you know diinta waxa saaxib ma ogola, spy baan noqonaysaa. Okay, I want to be spy enough, so at least I can get by this sociology class. They're pretty easy, it's straight A, you know. So it was that kind of challenge. But hadda meel ma mari kartid ba faarax kasta wuxuu rabaa askari noqdo, which is very good. It's a good positive thing, you know. Yeah. It's a positive. I mean, time is running, so I'm going to introduce you to our last speaker. This guy, this officer, this mentor is a huge. He's really huge. I mean, when I say huge, I really mean it. He's the glue that connects us. That's what it is. In a description of that, he's the one that contacts every police officer in anywhere you name, anywhere in the United States or the world. He became the first ever sergeant in the United States that I know of. There could be someone else that may be hiding his identity, but we don't know. By the way, there's a chief. I don't know if you guys heard, there's a Somalian chief, but he's a half Italian, half Somalian in North Carolina. But I don't know if he ever claimed that or not. But if he wakes up someday and says, hey, I was the highest ranked Somalian ever, hey, he's gonna get it. So until then, our highest rankings are sergeants. Wow, Sergeant Wahid and Sergeant Mohammed. And Sergeant Wahid works for Metro Transit. I don't know if most of you know Metro Transit is a 7-county jurisdiction. They got more jurisdiction than Minneapolis or St. Paul. You can basically go from here all the way to Big Lake, all the way to the Wisconsin border in one call. I mean, that's huge. And I don't know if you guys know, Metro Transit is controlled by Met Council. Met Council is when you pay your water bills, those are the people that you pay them. That's who they are. I mean, they collect money from you. So with that money, they develop land. They're part of actual Section 8 too. They subsidize housing. They do a lot of work. I mean, they really do a good work. So they're huge. And one of the things I tell the Somali people, especially our people, is to get involved with Metro Council. They have engineers. They have all kind of jobs, and they always hire. So you know. So that's a side tip if those of you looking for jobs. Well, let me not get too long here. I want to welcome my brother, Sergeant Wahid, to the podium.
السلام عليكم مدنيال iyo marwooyin waan salaamantiin dhamaantiin salaan kadib waad ku mahadsantihiin sida sharafta leh ee ugu soo qayb gasheen kulankan isbarashada ah oo idin soo abaabuleen Somali American Police Association run ahaantii qiimo gaar ah ayuu noo leeyahay la kulankan qadarin badan naga mudan tihiin dhamaantiin si wada jira inta kadib waxa la soo gaaray guntii iyo gabagabadii qaybtii hadalka ee barnaamijka waxaanan u gudbi doonaa qaybtii isdhexgalka isbarashada iyo su'aal isweydiinta. balse intaa kadib siduu idiin sheegay cali guddoomiyaha annaga cusub ee SAPA ururkan SAPA waxaa loo aasaasay in uu u adeego bulshada Soomaaliyeed ee Maraykanka ah meel kasta oo ay waddanka ka joogaan. ujeedadanadu waa inaanu idinkala shaqeyno nabadgelyada, badbaadinta carruurteena iyo xoojinta xiriirka ka dhaxeeya hay-adaha nabadgelyada iyo bulshada Soomaaliyeed. inaanu wax ka bedelana qaabka askartu ula dhaqmaan shacabka Soomaaliyeed. waxaa kaloo ururkan loo aasaasay inuu u adeego dhalinyarta Soomaaliyeed guddoomiyaha iyo dhalinyartii koreysad maqsan sheegeen ee danaynayaan inay ka mid noqdaan hay-adaha nabadgelyada suga. waxaanan u fidinaa barnaamijyo kala duwan oo ka caawiya una fududeeya sidii ay u noqon lahaayeen, sidii shaqada nabad sugidda u heli lahaayeen. ugu dambeyntii ururkan waxaa loo aasaasay inuu isu keeno mideeyana dhalinyarta hadda askarta ah si ay isaga kaashadaan arrimaha soo food saara ayaka iyo bulshadaba. ururka ujeedadiisu waa saas. intaas waxaan rabaa inaan ku daro wax yar oo codsiya. hana nixina wax lacag idin weydiinayo ma jirto. sheeko fanina ma hayo sidii Mukhtaar, marka waxaan isku dayaa inaan dhaqsado. sidaad ogtihiin nabadgelyada guudi waa mas'uuliyad ina wada saaran oo inaga wada dhaxaysa. booliska keligiis nabadgelyada ma sugi karo. idinka ayuu idin baahan yahay. idinkuna waad u baahan tihiin. waxaad tihiin indhihii iyo dhagihii booliska. booliskuna waa wehelkiinnii iyo difaaciinnii. marka waa inaan soo shaqeynaa. sidaa daraaddeed waxaan dhammaantiin idinka codsanayaa, aan aadna idinku boorinayaa inaad nagala shaqaysaan nabadgelyada bulshadeenna oo aad nala soo socodsiisaan markii aad aragtiin dad ku kacaya falal dembiyeed sida dhaca, dilka oo baryahan dambe nagu soo batay saad ogtihiin, kufsiga ama xatooyada. sidoo kale fadlan nala soo socodsiiya haddii aad aragtiin dad rabaan inay carruurteena maskaxda ka xadaan ama ka faa'iidaystaan dadkeena qaba cudurrada maskaxda gala si ay uga dhigaan gangs ama argagixiso. waayo waa waajib kulligeen ina saaran inaan ilaashano carruurteena iyo dadkeena xanuunsan. shakhsiyaadka doonaya inay meel xun ka tuuraana mustaqbalkooda ku cayaaraan, waalidkana murigo ku ridaan, waana iska qabanaa. taasi dan noo ma aha, carruurteena dan uma aha. miyayna saahayn? okay. marka dhallinyaradan aad u jeedina oo laydin baray caawa runtii nin lacag ku qaadanaya amaba kulligood waa volunteers inta waxay u imaadeen inay maaragtay community-ga ay caawiyaan oo waxay u qaban karaan u qabtaan. department ma soo dirsanin, qof kaloo soo dirsaday madre, ayakaa isa soo xilqaama, ayakaa inta iskeeneen si ay community-gooda u qabtaan. idinkana waxaan idinka rabnaa inaad sidii oo kale noo caawisiin, waayo annaka idinka la'aantiin waxba ma nihin. And I always tell this people, but I always tell people, you know, our greatest asset is our community. Yeah, without you guys, we would not be here. ugu dambeyntii waxaan rabaa inaan ammaan iyo bogaadin u soo jeediyo bulshada Soomaaliyeed oo runtii si aad iyo aad noogu muujisay jacayl iyo taageero aan xal lahayn. waad mahadsantihiin dhammaantiin meel kastoo adduunka ka joogtiin. fariintiina wayna soo gaadhay, waxaan isku dayaynaa inaanu xajino. waxaa kale oo aan rabaa inaan u mahad celiyo xubnaha SAPA dadkaad aragteen, gaar ahaan chairmanka naga Cabdiwahaab Cali iyo ku-xigeenkiisa Saalax Axmed intuu gala horta mawda security waa xaq u taagan yahay wana ilaalinaya waayo aad iyo aad ay u shaqeeyeen si ay u suurtageliyaan isku imaantikaan isu imaanay caawa intaan isugu imaanay aan waqti wada qaadano. kulankani waa kii ugu horeeyay balse ma aha kii ugu dambeeyay. waxaan ku jiraa oon qabanqaabinaynaa inaan kulamo kala qabano oo community-ga aanu maaragtay meel kasta oo joogaan aan ugu tagno meesha joogaan. magaalooyinka noo diyaarsan aan rabno sidan oo kale inaan community-ga ula kulano waxaa ka mid ah St. Paul, St. Cloud, Rochester, Mankato, mid ma hilmaamay Wilmer. kulligood inaan tagno. waxaan rabnaa inaan resource u noqono community-ga oo dhan dhammaantood meel kastoo ay joogaan inaan gaaro. hadalkaygii intaas ku egyahay. mar labaad waad mahadsantihiin. aad iyo aad baan idinku mahad celinaynaa taageerada aadna taageertiin maalin kasta. it means a lot to us when we out there on the street, and you know, usually when our people see us, you could just see the happiness on their faces, even though they don't even know you, who you are, or where you came from. You know, just by you being Somali and wearing a uniform. Imagine that. And sometimes I say to myself, imagine if every Somali would be that happy. To other Somalis, every Somali could have arkaan isa ugu farxi lahaayeen. No, seriously. It would have been amazing.
One last word I have to hope before I close garin. And Somali waxay isweydiisaa celebrity qofka loo waxa celebrity ah. Celebrity qof Hollywood gala movie dhiga. Laakiin seriously celebrity waxa ah qofka community-giisa markay ay arkaan ay appreciate gareeyaan oo ay dhahaan, you know what, mashallah, the job that you do, everything that you've done for us, or things you're gonna do, basically, you know. So I'm gonna close this. I'm gonna say thank you very much. I know your times are important. We wanted to actually make it a little bit more shorter than we expected. Like in Wulai, 1,000 times, thank you so much for Gabdaha Wilisha. Thank you.